Good day everyone, it's Pramita here. It's been a while since I last spoke to you. Now today I thought of discussing probably a hot topic in some of your views. Why people are divided over politics and so many other things. If you browse through your social media, you see a lot of people are putting conflicting views about their political supports to a person, as well as there are so many things which people have different views. Now you go through countless of those to see whether they are reaching an agreement or whether there is a consensus among them, but you most often than not, you don't see any consensus being reached. Instead, people start bashing each other. Now there is a psychological reasoning behind this. Now you see, when you have your own point of view and you want to argue with someone about their point of view, more often than not, you see people get into that combative mode, which is to start attacking the other person right away. Now, when you do that, do you think the other person would agree to your thought process? Absolutely not. That is not the human way. The moment you start going aggressive with the other person will also start countering it by attacking you, because obviously no one is perfect, everyone, and their arguments have flaws. So all what you see is an endless loop of argument which is never ending, and sometimes it becomes personal. Now this is the case in office environments as well. Why it is the case? Because when people put their arguments through, they lack one of the most important thing in an argument and progress, which is empathy. Now, instead of just attacking the other person head on, what if you put yourself into the other person's shoe? Be empathetic and you try to understand their point of view. Maybe the priorities that you have is completely different to the priorities of the other person. Maybe your thought process and the way that you approach issues is completely different to other person, because obviously everyone is unique. Now, if you try to understand their point of view and you be empathetic, then probably you start making a progress. Probably you may not agree on anything and everything, but you will start making progress. And that's the most important thing that you need to remember. And this is important in an office environment too. Now, I myself was probably not great when I was growing up. Sometimes even I got into these useless arguments to try to prove my point of view. But over time I realized that instead of going down in that combat mood, if you try to be empathetic and if you try to understand what's the other person's view, and that's where the progress could be made. Why it is so that you have to always put yourself into the other person's view? Simple reason being, we always think that we are rational human beings. Sometimes you think that you are well educated and your thought process is governed through the great thought process which is coming through. But more often than not, as it has been proven in the research, people first make an intuitive judgment and then they try to justify what they thought through. I'm not saying it's always, but most of the time. So you have already pre-made up your mind before you arrange or before you come up with your argument, and then you start filling up that with argument. And that is why you generally don't see people like to change their thought process. And that is why, more importantly, that you need to make sure that you understand what other person think and try to start your discussion from there. And if you do that, probably you will end up making a proper progress rather than just start bashing each other. That's it for today, guys. Until I see you next time, enjoy.